My sister posted, "Finally living my best life. The day I left home. 5 years later I'm a millionaire and she's asking to move into my guest house." If you're here with me right now, subscribe and let me know in the comments where you're watching from. It helps me feel like we're all in this together. I was sitting in my beat-up Honda Civic with everything I owned crammed in the backseat when my phone buzzed. Kennedy had tagged me in an Instagram post. My hands shook as I opened it. There she was, my older sister, sprawled across my bed in my childhood room, caption reading, "Finally living my best life now that the energy vampire is gone." 23 laughing emojis. Our mother had commented with 3 heart eyes. I was 22, Kennedy was 25, and I'd just been kicked out because Mom's boyfriend Patrick said the apartment was too crowded with me there. The apartment I'd been paying half the rent on for 3 years while working 2 jobs and putting myself through community college. Kennedy had moved back home 6 months ago after losing another job, paying nothing, but somehow I was the problem. The post had 67 likes already. I recognized the faces. Cousins, family, friends, people who'd watched me grow up. My Aunt Adrienne commented, "About time." I'd left 2 hours ago after Patrick literally changed the locks while I was at my shift at Target. Mom handed me 2 trash bags of my stuff through a cracked door and said, "Kennedy needs stability right now, baby. You understand." I didn't understand. I still don't. Kennedy wasn't always like this. I scrolled through old photos on my phone, parked outside a 24-hour diner, trying to figure out where to sleep. There we were at ages 7 and 10, gap-toothed and grinning at Disney World. Dad was alive then. He'd saved for 2 years to take us. Kennedy held my hand on every ride because I was scared. She taught me to swim that summer, patient when I panicked in the deep end. "I got you, Nia," she'd said. "I'll always have you." Dad died when I was 13, heart attack at 41. Something in Kennedy broke that day too. She started failing classes, skipping school, dating guys who treated her like garbage. Mom buried her grief in church and new boyfriends, each one worse than the last. Kennedy and I used to talk about it late at night, whispering in the dark. "We only got each other, Nia," she'd say. "Sisters before everything." But then I started succeeding. Made honor roll. Got into community college. Landed the Target job, then added weekend shifts at a call center. Kennedy dropped out of 3 different colleges, couldn't keep a job longer than 4 months. And slowly, without me noticing exactly when, my sister stopped being my protector and became my competition. I slept in my car that first night in a Walmart parking lot. Security knocked on my window at 3 a.m., told me to move along. I drove to a residential street, reclined the seat and tried not to cry. My phone kept buzzing with notifications from Kennedy's post. Someone had screenshot it and shared it to Twitter. I had 17 missed calls from my best friend Jasmine by morning. "Girl, I'm coming to get you," she said when I finally answered. But Jasmine lived with 3 roommates in a studio apartment in the worst part of town. There was no room. "I got this," I lied. "I got a place lined up." I didn't have anything lined up. I had $847 in my checking account, a car that needed new brakes, and a job that paid $12.50 an hour. I drove to Planet Fitness, paid for a membership I couldn't afford so I could shower. In the mirror, I looked exactly like what I was. A homeless 22-year-old black girl with everything stacked against her. My phone buzzed again. Kennedy had posted a video, dancing in my old room to Megan Thee Stallion, caption, "New room, who dis?" The comments were full of people congratulating her on her glow up. I was filling out housing applications on my laptop at a Starbucks, trying not to cry over the deposit requirements, when a voice said, "You look like you're carrying the whole world." I looked up at a black man in his 60s, well-dressed, kind eyes. Something about him reminded me of my dad. "Just a heavy day, sir," I said. He gestured to the empty chair. Mind if I sit? These legs aren't what they used to be. His name was Bernard Mitchell, and he was a retired software engineer who'd built and sold 3 companies. We talked for 2 hours. I told him everything, not meaning to, but it poured out. The eviction, Kennedy's post, sleeping in my car. He listened without judgment, occasionally nodding. Finally, he pulled out a business card. I run a program for young people in situations like yours. We provide housing, mentorship, and job training in tech. Interested? I stared at the card, waiting for the catch. There's always a catch. What do I have to do? I asked carefully. Bernard smiled. Show up. Work hard. Believe you deserve better than what life's handed you so far. That's it. 3 days later, I moved into a shared house with 4 other young people in the program. The program was intense. I moved into a house in a decent neighborhood with 4 other participants. 2 guys, 2 girls, all of us clawing our way up from nothing. My roommate Destiny was 23, had aged out of foster care, working on her coding certification. Bernard saved my life, she told me the first night. 2 years ago I was exactly where you are. Bernard's program wasn't charity, it was investment. We attended classes 6 days a week. Coding, digital marketing, business fundamentals. In exchange, we got free housing, a small stipend, and mentorship from successful entrepreneurs. But there were rules. No drugs, maintain a part-time job, attend all classes, meet weekly goals. Fail twice, you're out. I attacked it like my life depended on it, because it did. I kept my target job for income, went to classes every morning, studied until 2 a.m. Bernard checked on me weekly. Your sister's post lit a fire under you, he observed during our 3rd meeting. Good. Use it. Best revenge is success. But it wasn't revenge I wanted anymore. It was proof. Proof that I wasn't the problem. Proof that I deserved better. Proof that Kennedy was wrong. 6 months in, my cousin Trey called me. You seen Kennedy lately? He sounded worried. I hadn't spoken to my family since I left. What's going on? She got fired again. 3rd job this year. And Patrick moved his daughter into your old room. Kennedy's sleeping on the couch now. I felt a twisted satisfaction, then immediately hated myself for it. That's rough, I said, keeping my voice neutral. Mom's asking about you, Trey continued. Says she wants to talk. I'm good, I said and meant it. I was thriving actually. I discovered I had a natural talent for coding, especially UI/UX design. I'd built 3 apps in Bernard's program, each one better than the last. Bernard introduced me to a friend who ran a startup. They hired me as a junior designer at $55,000 a year. I cried when I got the offer letter. 2 weeks later, Kennedy found me on LinkedIn. Hey sis, can we talk? I miss you. I stared at the message for 10 minutes, then archived it. I wasn't ready. I didn't know if I'd ever be ready. The girl who held my hand on roller coasters was gone. I spent my evenings and weekends building something personal. An app that connected young people facing housing insecurity with resources, mentors, and opportunities. I called it Foundation. I knew that space intimately. I'd lived it. The app used AI to match users with relevant programs, housing assistance, job opportunities, and mentors based on their specific situations and goals. I poured everything into it. Every late night in my car, every humiliating moment, every time someone made me feel small. Bernard reviewed my business plan. This is it, Nia, he said quietly. This is the one. Let me introduce you to some investors. 3 months later, I pitched Foundation to a room of venture capitalists. My hands shook holding the clicker, but my voice stayed steady. I told them my story, not for sympathy but as proof of concept. There are thousands of young people like me, I said. Talented, driven, capable but locked out by circumstances. Foundation finds them and connects them to opportunities. It's not charity, it's infrastructure. We got $2.3 million in seed funding. I was 23 years old and the CEO of my own company. The day the funding cleared, I sat in my car, a new car now, a sensible Toyota, and called my dad's voicemail just to hear his voice. "I did it, Daddy," I whispered. Foundation launched 8 months later. The press loved the story. Young black woman who'd been homeless builds tech company to help others in similar situations. I did interviews with TechCrunch, Forbes, and Black Enterprise. My face was suddenly everywhere. The app exploded. Within 6 months, we had 100,000 users and partnerships with companies across the country. Revenue started flowing. Bernard told me, "You've built something that actually matters." That's rare. By my 25th birthday, Foundation was valued at $47 million. My personal net worth was just over $8 million. I bought a house. Nothing crazy, a beautiful 3-bedroom Craftsman in a tree-lined neighborhood with a guest house in the back. I stood in the empty living room and cried. 5 years ago I'd been sleeping in my car. My phone started blowing up. Kennedy had found the Forbes article. "OMG, Nia. So proud of you, sis. Can we please talk? I miss you so much." Then Mom, "Baby, I saw you in the magazine at the salon. You look so beautiful. Call me." Then cousins, old friends, people who'd laughed at Kennedy's post. Everyone suddenly remembered my phone number. I turned off my phone and sat in the silence of my new house. The dinner invitation came through Aunt Adrienne, the same aunt who'd commented about time on Kennedy's post. "Your mama wants to see you, baby. Family dinner at my house. Please come. Kennedy really wants to apologize." Something in me that still hoped for reconciliation agreed. I drove to Aunt Adrienne's house in my Tesla, a gift to myself, wearing a tailored blazer and designer jeans. I looked successful because I was successful. But I was also terrified. They were waiting in the dining room. Mom, Kennedy, Patrick, Aunt Adrienne, Uncle Roberto, my cousins. Kennedy jumped up when she saw me. "Nia." She tried to hug me but I stepped back. "Hey, Kennedy." Her face fell. She looked rough, tired eyes, gained weight, wearing clothes I recognized from high school. "You look amazing," she said, something unreadable in her voice. Mom started crying. "My baby. My successful baby." "Hi, Mom," I said coolly. Dinner was awkward. Everyone asked about Foundation, about my house, about money. Nobody apologized for the post or the eviction or the years of silence. Finally, over dessert, Kennedy cleared her throat. "So, Nia, I was thinking, you have that big house now, right? With the guest house." My stomach dropped. "I do. Well, I'm really struggling right now," Kennedy continued, not meeting my eyes. "And we're sisters. Family helps family, right? You want to move into my guest house." It wasn't a question. Kennedy smiled hopefully. "Just temporarily. Until I get back on my feet. I've been applying for jobs but it's hard out here, you know? And you have the space and, no." The word dropped like a bomb. The table went silent. "Nia, baby," Mom started. "She's your sister," Patrick interrupted. "After everything you've been through, you gonna do her like that?" Something in me snapped. Years of swallowed anger erupted. "Let me tell you what I've been through, Patrick. I've been through paying half the rent on an apartment while working 2 jobs and going to school full-time. I've been through Kennedy moving home and paying nothing while I supported everyone. I've been through you literally changing the locks on me and throwing my stuff in trash bags. I've been through sleeping in my car in a Walmart parking lot while my sister posted pictures celebrating that I was gone." My voice was shaking now. I've been through watching 67 people laugh at me losing my home. I've been through all of you going silent when I had nothing, then suddenly remembering my number when I have something. That's not fair, Kennedy whispered. You're right, I said. None of it was fair. The room erupted. Mom was crying. Patrick was yelling about respect. Aunt Adrian was trying to play peacemaker. But I wasn't finished. Kennedy, do you even remember what you posted when I left? I pulled up the screenshot I'd kept, not out of bitterness but as a reminder. Finally living my best life now that the energy vampire is gone. I turned my phone around. You called me an energy vampire for struggling. For working. For trying. Kennedy's face crumbled. I was just joking. I didn't mean, you meant it. And everyone laughed. And nobody defended me. Not one person in this room said, hey, that's messed up. Nia's going through something. I looked at Mom. You chose your boyfriend over your daughter. You handed me trash bags and told me Kennedy needed stability. Kennedy was depressed. Mom sobbed. She needed support. And I didn't. My voice broke. I needed support too, Mom. I needed my family. But supporting Kennedy meant sacrificing me, and you chose her. You all did. Uncle Roberto spoke up. You're being dramatic. We're trying to apologize now. No, you're trying to access my resources now. There's a difference. I stood up, grabbed my purse. Kennedy, I hope you get back on your feet. Genuinely. But I'm not your solution. Figure it out like I had to. I was halfway to my car when I heard footsteps. Nia, wait. It was my cousin Trey. He'd been quiet during dinner, watching everything unfold. I need to tell you something, he said. I hated what Kennedy did. That post, the laughing, all of it. It was cruel. But I was too scared to say anything because, family. He looked ashamed. When you left, Kennedy told everyone you'd stolen money from her. Said that's why they kicked you out. Mom and them believed it. Spread it around the family. I knew it was bullshit, but I didn't defend you, and I felt sick about it for 5 years. The betrayal hit fresh. She told people I was a thief. Made herself the victim. Said you were jealous of her, stealing her stuff, causing problems with Patrick. When you disappeared, it seemed like proof. Then that Forbes article came out, and suddenly Kennedy's story changed. Now she tells people you abandoned the family, got too good for everyone. Trey handed me his phone. Kennedy's Facebook from 2 weeks ago. Some people get a little success and forget where they came from. Guess blood doesn't mean anything anymore. #hurt, #family first, hundreds of sympathetic comments. My entire family thinking I was the villain. Thank you for telling me, I said quietly. 3 months later, Kennedy showed up at my office unannounced. Security called me. There's a Kennedy Morrison here. Says she's your sister. I almost said to send her away. Instead I said, give me 5 minutes. She looked worse than at the dinner, exhausted, desperate. We sat in my office, expensive view of the city behind me. I need help, Nia. Kennedy's voice was small. I'm being evicted. I lost another job. I have nowhere to go. What about Mom? Patrick kicked me out. Said I was just like you, a drain on resources. The irony wasn't lost on either of us. I took a deep breath. Kennedy, I'm going to help you. But not how you think. I pulled up Foundation on my laptop. This is my program. Housing, job training, mentorship. You apply like everyone else. You work hard like everyone else. You earn your success like everyone else. No shortcuts because you're my sister. Actually, probably held to a higher standard because you're my sister. Kennedy stared at me. You won't just let me stay with you? No. Because that wouldn't help you. It would just be another person solving your problems. I softened slightly. But if you do the program, really commit, I'll be there. As a sister who wants you to succeed, not as a bank account. Kennedy started crying. I'm so sorry. For the post, for everything. I was jealous and petty and cruel. I know, I said. And I forgive you. But forgiveness doesn't mean erasing consequences. It means moving forward differently. Kennedy enrolled in foundation the next week. She's 6 months in now, doing well. We have coffee sometimes, cautiously rebuilding something new. Not the relationship we had, but something more honest, more real. Mom and I are in therapy, working through years of dysfunction. It's hard, painful work. Some days I'm not sure we'll make it through. But I'm trying. Foundation just hit 500,000 users. I hired Bernard as our Chief Impact Officer. He teared up when I asked him. You were supposed to be my legacy, he said. Turns out you're your own legacy. I'm just honored to watch. Last week I got a message from a 19-year-old girl using foundation. You saved my life, she wrote. I was sleeping in my car and now I have hope. I know exactly how she feels. Sometimes the people who hurt us the most give us the fuel to become who we're meant to be. Kennedy's post didn't break me. It forged me. And I'm grateful for every brutal moment that brought me here, to a life I built myself on my terms with my name on it. Finally living my best life. No caption needed.